Hello guys, welcome back and thank you so much for clicking to watch this video. I'm back with another Wednesday's Wahala. This is where I attempt to do a makeup look and we talk about a real life DV situation that went really bad. And the goal here is just to create awareness to DV and to stress on the importance of leaving DV relationships while you still can or before it's too late. Last week we talked about Faith and Gregory Green. Gregory Green is the guy that deleted his entire family twice. If you have not watched that video, I'm going to link it in the description box below, or you can go in my playlist and it's going to be there with several other videos that I'm pretty sure you're going to like. Today's video we're going to be talking about Tatiane Spitzner. This story happened in Brazil and it made headlines just because of the way it all turned out, because almost the entire thing was captured on CCTV camera, and this was played out just like a movie, but it was happening in real life, you guys. So we are going to get into that story today. Today's video I'm going to be using an oldie but goodie. This is the Jackie Aina palette that she did with ABH Anastasia Beverly Hills. And I say oldie but goodie because in makeup terms it is pretty old. I'm not sure exactly, about 3-4 years old already. Yeah, but it is still a very beautiful palette. This is what it looks like. So I was going through my collection and I was like, I have this very good palettes that I haven't been using for a while, so I'm like, okay, I might as well just use it. So this is what we're going to be playing with today. Let's do some makeup and talk about today's Wahala. Today's story takes us all the way to Brazil, in Guarapuava, Brazil, in 2018. This story is about Tatiane Spitzner and her husband Luis Philippe Manverlier. And like I said in the intro, this was a very publicized story, and that was because of the way that it all played out. It was captured, most of it was captured on CCTV camera, and it was played on national television. And this case helped spread awareness to femicide in Brazil. Femicide is when the female gender is deleted just because they are female, and this is mostly for DV situations. And this was important at the time because Brazil is reported to be the seventh highest rate of femicide. Okay, there's a lot of females or a lot of women that are deleted in Brazil, and it looks like there's not a lot of sensitization about the issue, or there's not a lot that is done, especially when it comes to DV situations. It looks like the police doesn't really get involved, and even family, like people really don't get involved in relationship issues. They're like, oh, maybe it's a couple, they're married, that's their business and stuff. So this case really helped to spread awareness about femicide. So at the time of the incident in 2018, Tatiane was just 29 years old. She was married to Luis Philippe Manverlier, who was 32 years old. Tatiane was a lawyer. Luis Philippe was a teacher. He was a biology lecturer. The couple met in 2013 and their love was like almost instant, like they fell in love almost immediately. Luis was head over heels for Tatiane. He loved her so much, and early 2013 they met, and around August of 2013 he asked her out, and shortly after that in November he proposed, and their proposal lasted just for 2 weeks and they were married. That's how much in love this couple was, or at least it seemed that they were in love at the time. So they started living together, of course, but both of them were two very different They were very different personalities, okay? Tatiane was outgoing. She was very friendly, life of the party. She had family around her. She had friends, people that loved her. She was very friendly, very intelligent, very smart. Louis Philippe, on the other hand, was more, what's the term? He wasn't outgoing. He wasn't a very social person. And people barely even knew his background. And the gym where he worked at, the people there even said that he was very, very tied up. Like, he wouldn't communicate. He wouldn't talk to people. He would come to the gym, just walk out and go. He wouldn't really talk to people. The most that was known about him was that he had a sister and a brother, and that his dad had passed a few years back and his mom was battling cancer at the time. So that's as much that was known about him. But anyway, this couple, they were a beautiful pair. Okay, you know, Brazil has some of the most beautiful people. The women there are gorgeous. Okay, so they had this beautiful couple, or they were this beautiful couple. Like, when they took pictures, you look at them, they're like people in a movie or in a magazine or something. But they were the definition of the glam couple, okay? Because they were beautiful on the outside. When they came out, everybody was looking at them like, oh, couple goals and everything. But inside, in the house, was a whole different thing. It was an abusive relationship from day one. Louis Philippe was very, very controlling. Louis Philippe was very controlling and very possessive. He had to choose Tatiane's clothes. Like, he had to choose what kind of clothes Tatiane would wear. Like, she would be so she would be so excited about buying some outfit, but if she brought it home and he didn't like it, he would tear it up and be like, nope, you can't wear this. He wanted her, he wouldn't help her in the house to do any chores or anything like that. He would let her understand that she is the woman and it's her job to do the chores. He wouldn't help her. And she was a lawyer. She was making some decent money. But even when she suggested that she get a maid to help her and she would pay, he refused. He said, nope, it's your job. You do it. And he wouldn't help her to do anything. He would even control her friends, who she was talking to. And she was really starting to get frustrated with the whole situation. Louis Philippe was also physical. He also hit on his wife. Even though she never made any reports, but her friends saw the bruises. She would have bruises on her hands and they would ask her and she would be like, oh no, maybe I fell. She would give excuses like I fell or something like that because she didn't really want to expose her husband and what was going on in her home. Tatiane would complain to a friend of hers. She would confide in a friend and tell her how frustrated she was getting and how she contemplated leaving her husband, getting a divorce. But she was like, it's just too much. If you want to get a divorce in Brazil, it's too much bureaucracy, too much going on with the police and the courts and everything. So she was like, maybe I'll just stay, you know. But she told her friend everything that was happening. She even told her friend how she felt like her husband didn't like her. Her husband hated her because he used some really bad words on her. He would verbally insult her and say hurtful things to her. So when he was mad at her, he wouldn't talk to her for days. You know, he would just give her the silent treatment for days, and she wasn't really feeling it anymore. So anyway, on the day of the incident, it was supposed to be Louis Philippe's birthday, and they had decided to go out that evening to meet up with some friends for the birthday celebration. So Tatiane had gone out to do her nails in preparation for the evening. And when she came back, she was late. She was late coming back from where she had gone to. And that's where everything started, because Louis Philippe was mad. Okay, he started shouting at her, and he was angry that she came back late and all of that. But they managed to put that aside, and they did go for their event. The rest of the evening, things were calm. They were there at the dinner with friends, so you would think that everything was okay. They were fine now because they weren't fighting anymore at the dinner. But later on, when they left the dinner, that's when you start seeing the CCTV camera capturing them. First, they're captured in the car. As they're in the car, you can see that Louis Philippe, there's some kind of an altercation in the car. They're stopped at like a red light or something. And Louis Philippe hits her. He hits his wife. And when asked later on what happened in that situation, he was like, he had posted his birthday on the internet, I think it's Instagram or something. And there were some ladies that were responding to his birthday and telling him birthday wishes and everything. And when Tatiane saw it, she was jealous and she started reproaching him for it. And that's what caused the fight. So Louise is someone that doesn't tell the truth a lot. So who is going to believe that that's actually what happened? That's his side of the story, because he said this after the lady had already passed. So how do we know that that's true? But anyways, the CCTV cameras again capture them when they go back to their apartment, and they are in the parking in the garage. You can see him pulling this lady out of the car, like shoving her out of the car, and she tries to escape from him. He pushes her. She falls down and tries to escape from him. She's running and she goes into the elevator. Now I'm going to put some of the videos on here because it's something that you really want to see, because I might not be able to explain it to you, right? You want to see, but I'm not going to put a lot of it. There are several other videos on there. If you go online, ask Google. Google will show you all of the videos if you want to see them, but they're a little disturbing, okay? They're a little disturbing, so I'm just going to put that warning out there for now. On the CCTV recordings, you can see Tatiane trying to escape from her husband. She runs and gets to the elevator, and when she gets in, she tries to hit all the buttons so that the elevator closes really fast so that he doesn't come in, but he manages to come in. And you can see him shoving her and hitting her head and trying to catch her and hit her in the elevator. At some point, they get to one of the floors and the elevator opens up, and I guess that's not their floor. She tries to escape and he catches her, brings her back in and hits her head again. And when they finally get to their floor, you see him pushing her out of the elevator, and she's still struggling to come out, and it's just disturbing. Now, what happens after that? Okay, once they get out of the elevator, the CCTV cameras stop. They go to the apartment, and what happens in the apartment there is not very clear. But 15 to 20 minutes later, the CCTV camera again captures a woman falling from the 4th floor of the apartment to the ground. Yes. Unfortunately, she falls off the balcony to the ground. Now, that's not the saddest thing that happens. Okay? The saddest thing that happens is once she falls down to the ground, she's lying there unresponsive. CCTV camera captures her husband coming down there and picking up her lifeless body and taking her back up to the apartment. Like, this is sad and just disturbing. Okay. While all of this is going on, neighbors hear Tatiane screaming. They hear her screaming for help. And passersby see when Louis Philippe is picking up her lifeless body up back to the apartment, and they call the police. So CCTV also captures Louis Philippe coming back. When he goes in the elevator, he puts her body on the floor and he kind of lifts his hands up, kind of like, you know, like kind of Mamma Mia kind of way, you know, regretting his actions. And then he puts her back in the apartment, comes back with a rag, and you can see him on CCTV cleaning up. You can see him on CCTV cleaning up what seems to be blood. He leaves her in the apartment and just drives off. Okay, so before the police gets there, he's gone. And nobody knows where he is. But a few minutes later, they find him. He's been gone. He's driven 185 miles away. And then he crashed his car. That's how they managed to find him. So they asked him why he was running or why he crashed his car. He said he was disturbed. Like, he was very disturbed by what had just happened. Like, for his wife deleting herself, because that's what he claimed, that she deleted herself. She fell from the balcony on her own accord, and he didn't push her. That's what he claimed. But of course, we know that that's not true, because the evidence showed that this woman was already gone before she fell off or she was thrown off that balcony. Before she got to the ground, she was already gone. I'm not sure why this is coming out as green. It's coming out kind of greenish or goldish. But if you look at it in the pan, this is what I'm using right here. And in the pan, it looks like white. But when I put it on, it's coming off like greenish. So Louis Philippe, of course, was arrested and charged with the deleting of his wife, which, of course, he pled not guilty. He claimed that he didn't do it, that his wife decided to throw herself over the balcony by herself. He claimed that when they got back, they were still fighting, and she threatened that she was going to do it, and she did. Even though autopsy results found out that she was strangled, okay? There were bruises on her neck. There was proof that she was strangled. It was also found that there was no adrenaline or cortisone in her system, which is what she would have released by knowing that she was falling from the balcony. That wasn't in her system. But there was a lot of alcohol in her system, which was normal because they were just coming from an event. But despite the fact that they had all that evidence, Louis Philippe still denied that he didn't do anything to his wife and that she deleted herself. Even though he apologized to the family, he apologized to Tatiane's family, but he refused that he didn't do anything to her. So in the end, Louis Philippe was sentenced to 30 years in jail for deleting his wife. So here we have another sad story. Another young, vibrant woman who lost her life to DV. I mean, it's just so important that we keep stressing and keep stressing that you need to leave. You need to leave when you can, or as soon as you can, or before it's too late. CCTV recordings really helped solve this case. It really helped, because with everything that was happening, you can't tell me that you'll be battering this woman from the car to the garage to the elevator and everything, and then all of a sudden you don't want to do it anymore, and she decides to just take her own life after she's been fighting the whole time. No, she didn't look like she was ready to go. The whole time she didn't look like she was ready to go. She would have left you to just do what you wanted to do to her, but she was fighting. She was trying to run, and she's not going to run until the last minute and she decides, okay, I don't want to run anymore. I just want to go, you know. And one thing that he did was this guy said that he did not remember what happened in the elevator. He said he had a blackout in the elevator. He couldn't remember what happened. But conveniently enough, he was able to remember what happened right before she fell off the balcony. Like, really? Come on. Yeah, so this case, like I said earlier, it just gave a lot of awareness. Okay, it brought a lot of awareness in Brazil, and not only in Brazil but also around the world, because it is a video that was shared and a lot of people saw the brutality and everything that happened. It needs to create awareness. And Tatiane's sister created an Instagram page which was Todos por Tatiana, meaning everyone for Tatiana. And again, that was just to create awareness that if you see something, say something. Because according to her, in Brazil, they had this culture of not getting involved in marital issues. And I think we too have that culture most of the time. In Cameroon, we hear people say, between man and woman, no put your mop day, you know, things like that. So if they're fighting or anything like that happens, you can't say anything. You don't want to report it because it's your husband. He pretty much owns you and he can do whatever he wants to do. No, it shouldn't happen like that. Like, please, if you are in an abusive relationship, it is not acceptable. It is not acceptable. And so many times we've seen this happen. At the end of the day, the man is going to is going to overpower, not empower. It's going to overpower the woman. Look, in this case, this guy was on steroids. He was a bodybuilder. He was big, huge. Look at him in the video, just throwing this woman around anyhow. You know, in most cases, the man is going to overpower the woman and is going to end up not on the side of, not in favor of the woman. So if you are in that situation and you can leave, please leave before it is too late. That's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching to the end. If you like this video, do not forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you have not already. Show some love, take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.